Welcome to our CSU transfer panel. This is hosted by Foothill Honors Connection Club. And just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Kayla. I am the PR for the Honors Club, and I'll be your MC for today. And today we have two panelists. They're both from different CSUs. And yeah, let's just get into it. So just to go over our general structure for our transfer series, we're going to start with introductions from both of our panelists, and then we'll go into structured Q&A where we have some questions prepared already for our panelists, and then we'll do open Q&A. So if anyone from the audience has any questions that weren't mentioned in our structured Q&A, we'll have them answered there, and then we'll have our closing statements. Yeah, so let's get into the introductions. Let's start with Bryce, if you would like to briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going? My name is Bryce. I'm a business administration major. I'm a junior here at Cal Poly, and I transferred from Foothill in 2024. I got my associates in business administration. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you, Bryce. And then Jerry, if you'd like to quickly introduce yourself.
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Jerry Chen. And first off, shout out to Foothill Honors Club. Thank you for inviting us today. And for me, I graduated from Foothill College with an associate degree in kinesiology. And I'm currently attending San Diego State University with a major of kinesiology with a focus in pre-PT. And nice meeting you all.
Yes, thank you, Jerry. All right, so let's get started with our structured Q&A, and I'm just gonna stop sharing this so that I can read out the questions to you guys. Right, so going into our Q&A, we're just gonna have some general questions and then transfer specific questions and then application specific questions. So starting with our first question, since you guys are both Foothill transfers, our first question is why did you decide to attend Foothill? And then you guys can just speak out your answer in whatever order you guys like.
Bryce, do you want to start?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you, Jay. I would say I chose Foothill because, unfortunately for me, out of high school, I applied to about like 7 UCs and CSU schools, and I didn't get into any of them out of high school. So then I looked around at the local community colleges, and I actually lived closer to De Anza and like Mission College. I live in Santa Clara, but I toured Foothills campus, and I also learned that the class sizes at Foothill were a lot smaller compared to De Anza, and I really liked that aspect. And I thought Foothill campus was really nice and just like beautiful campus to be on. So that's why I chose Foothill.
Yeah, I have similar answer with Bryce, but for me it's different. I'm an international student, and I was applying to Foothill College back when there was COVID, so everything was more complicated, and I just decided to stay at a slower pace, and I joined Foothill because it also offer more transfer opportunities compared to other schools, especially with the strong tag and the transfer pathways. And so for me, also international student, the Foothill College tuition is way lower than other universities. It's more affordable for me, and also Foothill campus offer many supportive services, so that was a big plus. And if you're at Foothill, I'm sure you guys are right now. It's a great choice.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. So you both mentioned that you applied to a lot of schools, and especially at Foothill, there's just so many opportunities that are provided for transfers and so many schools that Foothill can help you get into. But from the schools you're accepted to, and do feel free to share these if you're comfortable, why did you ultimately decide to attend your respective schools?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to get into almost every single school I applied to. The only one I got waitlisted from was UC Irvine, but I was choosing between UCLA and Cal Poly. And like when you hear the brand name UCLA, you it seems like the place that everybody would want to go. But I toured Cal Poly, I toured UCLA, and then I looked deeper and researched deeper into UCLA, and I found the prices to be like it was $10,000 more per year, and the major I would have at UCLA is business economics, and I don't enjoy economics as much as I do learning about business. So for me, it was more about what I was learning in the classroom. And I really wanted to learn more about the business aspect rather than the economics. And then additionally, class sizes were a lot smaller at Cal Poly. It was a lot more similar to Foothill, where it's like 30 to 40, versus UCLA is like more like 60 to like over 100 for your economics classes and accounting courses. Um, and I really enjoyed my experience at Cal Poly. I would say the only thing that's a little different is like socially at Cal Poly. I live in transfer like building, but it's a little bit more quiet because everybody has their own apartment. But UCLA, you have like a dorm style living, which is a lot easier to like get to know your neighbors and stuff like that. But yeah.
Well said, Bryce. Bryce. Also for me, I was also fortunate enough to get to be accepted by all the 9 CSUs I applied to and most of the UCs I applied to. And I ultimately chose San Diego State University is because of my major, kinesiology, because UCs, they don't offer kinesiology, so it didn't really align well with my future career plan. And also San Diego State University, they offer well-organized kinesiology program, especially for students on the pre-physical therapy track. So the program's reputation, opportunities in sports medicine and rehabilitation has made the right fit for me. And also at the same time, the tuition was a factor as well because it's more affordable at state schools compared to UCs, and also smaller classes with a focus on major, maybe chose CSUs. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So those were it for our general questions. So now we're gonna go into transfer specific questions. And I think Bryce, you mentioned something about the transfer community and how it's kind of more quiet at Cal Poly, and that's what factored into your decision. But overall, what do you guys think of the transfer community at your respective colleges in terms of either size or their presence on campus?
I mean, for me personally, because I live in like a transfer building, and we have transfer specific housing, which is really nice. Like we have apartments where you have your own room and like your own, you share a bathroom with one other person. But I would say the transfer housing is great at Cal Poly. And currently, I'm golfing with all my neighbors right now in my transfer building, which is a lot of fun. So it's a lot. It's I would say it's pretty easy to get to know your neighbors and like build a community through transfer housing. But also, there's a lot of transfer specific events, and they have a transfer success center on campus, and like we have all the resources we need to succeed, which I think is really great. And then additionally, we have this thing called a week of welcome at Cal Poly, where the first week before school starts, you get to attend like a ton of events with other transfer students and go across the county of San Luis Obispo and do like all these fun activities. Like, for example, we went kayaking in Morro Bay. We went on hikes around campus. We have a really beautiful campus, and we went to the architecture graveyard on a hike, and then we went to a bonfire at Grover Beach. And it's just an experience to build community, get people acclimated to the school and to the people. But yeah, I really like it here at Cal Poly.
Nice. For San Diego State, the transfer community here is present, but not as large, I believe. But first off, San Diego is a fun city, so I'm pretty sure you can have fun here. And also for the transfer community, they have dedicated resources and clubs for transfers. And I have found that once you involve in a major or student organizations, it's very easy to make friends. And I also made many friends who are also transfers. And talking about housing, I'm currently living off campus at a apartment. It's mainly of San Diego State University students, and the reason is apartment off campus was more affordable for me. But there's also on campus housing for transfer students, and it's just your own choice of you want to live on campus or you want to find somewhere that's more affordable. But the housing in general is pretty nice here.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned a lot of resources that were provided for you as a transfer. So our next question is actually very similar, I think, to your answers. But was there any other transfer-specific resources or services available that you would recommend, such as academic advisors or kind of like a more seamless transition into housing, anything like that?
Yeah, so one thing we have at Cal Poly is this course called Biz 206. If you're a business major, you will take it. And it really just gets you acclimated to Cal Poly and the Orphalia College of Business. And it's run by two academic advisors, which you will have meetings with in the fall quarter, and the course is during the summer quarter. So you get to meet them. You take the course. It's pretty much just information about Cal Poly and the OCOB. That's what we call it. Our College of Business, and then during fall quarter you have meetings with the academic advisors, Chris and Amy. They're really awesome people, and they just help you out if you have any questions, have any concerns about your schedule, or just anything about Cal Poly. They know it and they'll help you out. And another thing we also have is a transfer academic coaching, which I was lucky enough to do my first two quarters, and that was awesome. So I got a lot of help with tutoring and stuff like that to stay. But yeah, thank you.
Yes, similar with Cal Poly and SDSU, it is very supportive for transfer students here. So San Diego State University also provides transfer academic advisors, and especially within each college. And we also have workshops, and there's very helpful orientation sessions for transfers. And for me, it was very easy onboarding because the time I joined our orientation before school starts, my academic advisors already planned out my courses for my future classes and need prereqs for my grad school, and it's very personalized schedule for each of you, and you don't have to worry about what class you pick. They're already kind of designed for you, and but you can always adjust your schedule and discuss with your academic advisor. So in general, it's a very smooth transition for me from Foothill College to CSU.
Yeah, thank you guys for answering and providing more specific resources that you guys think are helpful. So, I think you both mentioned kind of a lot about integrating yourselves into your respective colleges. And I know that as a transfer, there's probably a little different than just going into there as a first year. So, has integrating into a larger community of non-transfers felt seamless? And you guys can mention things such as like the class size difference, how your community affected that transition, and anything else you guys would like to mention.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit more difficult, obviously, than when you're a first year and you meet all your friends in the dorms and stuff like that. But it's not terrible because at least for me, I have a lot of my neighbors and transfers like in my classes as well. And then even like uh non like beginner classes, if you go into like random GE, you'll probably meet a random transfer um student as well. So the transfer community is all like pretty big at Cal Poly, but I would say another thing, I don't know, it is tough. It's a little tougher socially, with like Greek life and stuff like that. When you're transferred, but if you're into Greek life and stuff like that, if you join, you'll meet a ton of people. It'll be a lot easier to integrate yourself. Um, I personally am not part of Greek life, but I know I have a couple of friends that are, and they really enjoy it. Um, but I would say one thing is that's really fun is intramural sports. If you enjoy athletics, at any capacity. Like they have beginner levels and like intermediate and advanced. And I've been playing a lot of intramural sports, meeting a lot of really cool people, and that's probably my biggest friend group is through intramural sports. And yeah, there's also a lot to do if you're, especially if you're over 21 in San Luis Obispo. There's like a really good bar scene and like um, restaurants and places to go eat and go out with your friends, and that's a good time.
Yeah, awesome. Also for me, it took me a little time, but it's definitely doable for the transition from to a bigger, larger community and to seeing with non-transfer students. Um, but also, same as Bryce said, just be active on campus, joining clubs. If you play sports, great because the intramural here is actually very active. It's such a good resource for students to meet people, to enjoy sports. I also met a lot of friends playing intramural sports. And yeah, also don't hesitate to reach out to any classmates or professors. They're also very helpful. They're always willing to talk to you. Even though the class size here is bigger at upper division class at the upper division school, but it's still very engaging. And the professors, if you want to reach out, they are easy to talk with as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, kind of just building off of that question a little bit. Um, I know that Foothill, the classes themselves are kind of small. You only see like maybe like max 30 people in your in-person classes, and then maybe like max 50 people in online classes. So do you think like the academic class size is a little different at your colleges? And do you think that affects like your academic process?
I would say that for me personally, a lot of my classes are pretty similar to Foothill, like 30 to 40 students. But I would have like I've had one class, my marketing course was 180 people, which was kind of a bummer. But other than that, everything's been really, really good. And yeah, like talking to, well, I would say some professors are a little bit more caring than others. I've had a couple professors that don't really care about their students, which is which sucks. But um, I've also had a lot of professors that really care about their students at Cal Poly, which is very similar to Foothill. I felt like at Foothill, most professors really cared and wanted us to succeed. Um, but yeah, like academically, so office hours for every professor, so you can go in and talk to them. I recently went to office hours on Thursday, and I talked to my professor to get 2 extra bonus points back on my midterm that I took. So most professors have stuff like that, and reward you for coming to office hours, participating in class, stuff like that, and yeah, just like speak up. Like people are very kind here, and professors are for the most part also very kind. So yeah, like you'll do great.
For SDSU, it is a way bigger campus, but the class size really depends on what class and what your major. So for my GE class, took my chemistry and psychology. That two classes has 500 people in each class. It was huge lectures, but the good side is professor really won't care about your attendance very strictly in that case. And besides that, I also have smaller classes for my major, and the professors are in general very caring. And I also been enjoying office hours, as Boba said, and they're very nice. They're willing to talk to you, willing to teach you more if you go into office hours. And so I would say you're cared in general, and the larger classes won't really negatively impact you. So
Yeah, and not just class size itself and being able to connect with the professors, but how do you guys think the academic rigor at your schools compares to Foothill?
I would say it's definitely a lot harder. Um, I would definitely study a lot more than I do. Like I study a lot more now than I did at Foothill. Courses are definitely. I will say some courses have a lot less homework, but the midterms and exams there's a lot more weight with them, so you really got to study hard. But overall, it's nothing too crazy compared to Foothill, but it's definitely an adjustment for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. And first off, I think Foothill definitely prepared me well in time management and some foundational knowledge, so it gets me very prepared for upper division classes. And but for San Diego State, we are a semester system, so slightly different from Foothill and maybe Cal Poly. And but I think. But still, the classes move very fast, and they really require you have deeper critical thinking and applications. So, it's definitely doable as long as you put in work. You go to lectures, you do your homework, you will do fine. And most classes are easy A's.
So that does conclude all of our transfer specific questions. Thank you guys for your awesome responses. So moving on, we're going to be asking application specific questions. So our first one is, which on-campus resources for Foothill did you use or wish you used that supported you the most during your application process?
Yeah, I would say the most useful one for me was academic advisors. I went and saw Tracy Cunningham a few times before I made my application decisions. Um, but yeah, I would say go like work with English professors or like people at the tutoring center to work on your essays, and then like once you do that, you'll probably be fine. Like it's um, I wouldn't stress too much about it. I wrote terrible essays at 2 a.m. and just submitted them without anybody checking them, and I got in. So I think you'll be.
Yes. Okay. So since this is a CSU panel, I'll focus a little more on CSU applications. And so CSU application in general is way easier than UC's. It's not as stressful as UC applications because it didn't really ask for any essays. And for one on the resource used I for help, they're definitely helpful. Is I just talk to the counselors all the time, and they are always very patient. They're willing to help me, and they take a look at my essays, and also they help me make sure I finish every class. So yeah, tutoring center is a good place to fix your essays and talk to your counselors to make sure you get the classes done. You're taking the right classes. That's the two resources I think the most helpful throughout my transfer application process.
Yeah, awesome. And then, so our next question is, what were your extracurriculars at Foothill? And feel free to share just what you're comfortable with and anything that you think um, helped you with that application process through those extracurriculars.
Yeah, so I was part of student government with Jerry, and I was the senator as well. Jerry was also a senator. So being part of ASFC was a really big part of my extracurricular activities. But I was also a part of a lot of clubs, like the business club, the BEC, um, and then I also ran my own intramural sports club, and that was a lot of fun too. My last quarter at Foothill, and then yeah, I was part of the Honors Connection Club as well, which was really fun. I went to on their tour of Berkeley, which was really cool. I went to a couple trivia nights, won myself a Chipotle gift card one time. That was really cool. But yeah, I would say another thing was working. I worked a lot during my time in at Foothill. So I worked at Trader Joe's and like a coffee shop and ice cream shop as well. So I would say on the CSU application, it asks you how many like work or volunteer hours you have, and then just put down as many as you do. But yeah, so I would say extracurriculars, working, ASFC, and being part of clubs.
Yeah, for me, I have many common with Bryce. So we had a great experience being senators at ASFC at Foothill College, and when we both hosted our sports clubs. I was president of basketball club, and I was also part of the Ultimate Frisbee Club, and also many other clubs. For example, I was part of the Honors Connection Club too. I remember last year I went to Berkeley. The field trip was awesome, and so I think the roles really helped me grow as a leader and just connect with student body. And in general, it didn't your extracurricular activities didn't help you not just on applications, also help you build as a person, build your leadership, and also connection with other students and potentially faculties on campus as well.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that, Foothill has so many different programs and clubs that you can join that will definitely help out not only with your application, but kind of help you guide that passion for your major or anything you want to do related to it. So our next question was, did you submit your standardized test scores, such as the ACT or the SAT, to your colleges? And is it required for you to do that?
When we applied, it was not required at UCs and CSUs, and I personally never took an SAT or an ACT, so I didn't have to worry about that part. And I did just fine. So
Yeah, same here. Actually, was one of the biggest reasons I joined the Foothill or community college, because usually for transfer to use CSUs, the standard tests are not required, so you can better focus on your curriculars at Foothill, and or for people who didn't do as ideally in their standard tests, is a good time to make up in your community college.
Right, thank you guys. And then our last question is, what do you think made you stand out the most in your application?
I feel like I'm not really sure about CSU. I would say probably my volunteer and work experience or work hours per week. Because I also coached volleyball and I volunteered for that. So maybe they saw that, thought I was a great applicant, as well as my GPA. But I would say for UCs, probably my involvement on campus at Foothill, being part of ASFC and part of clubs and stuff like that.
Nice. For me, for yeah, CSUs, it didn't really ask you for your extracurricular for me. So for CSUs, they probably just look at transcript. Your GPA is very important, that's for sure. And then for UCs, I did fail all my 20 blanks for my extracurricular. So I think UCs, they do look at what you do outside of the classes. But just something I wish I did better, or something important for you guys, is just definitely focus on GPA. That's number one, because that's first the standard C as a good student academically. But if you have the time or energy to do extracurricular, definitely go for it. But first off, I'll keep your GPA.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys for your amazing responses. So that concludes our structured Q&A. So next we're going to move on to our open Q&A. And then I'm just going to share my screen again. So we did have a few questions from our last meeting. So one of them was, would you do anything differently if you could go back?
I would probably say that I would talk to people in my classes a little bit more. At Cal Poly, my first fall quarter, and just get to know people a little bit more. Like I'm doing well right now, but it would be great to have like an even bigger friend group and stuff like that. But other than that, I would say honestly, yeah, I'm chilling where I'm at right now. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree with what Bryce just said. Foothill is actually is a good place to make even lifelong friends, and talk to your classmates more, make good connections with people since they're smaller class size. And something I wish to do better is probably just maybe just do better in my classes, focus more on schools. Or if you're getting straight A's, then good for you. But in general, I wish I did even better in my classes. That'll definitely help you with your school. So focus on studies and talk to your people.
Thank you guys. And then we have another question. What's something you weren't expecting that was a pleasant surprise when you got to your CSU, whether socially, academically, or anything else?
I would say one thing is the amount of availability professors have, and for the most part, you can go up to them like after class and talk to them and not have to worry about it. and then you go to office hours whenever you want, or well, not whenever you want, but most professors are really flexible, and you can schedule appointments with them, and then you'll be able to like communicate that whenever you need to. But
Right, correct. Office hours are definitely a good chance to catch up with your studies, and professors actually they're very nice here. And also for CSUs, I'm not entirely sure about how is it like at UCs, but CSUs, I'm just so happy to find out that they offer many resources for students, including career services. Also even the gym here is super nice, and you will definitely. I think every CSU has very nice gyms, and you will definitely enjoy the facilities here. And also they have many academically. They help you. They have tutor center as well, and they have career centers. They also even they have specific tutors for a major, specific for tutors for a college, and for some career services, and then they can help you with plenty of fix your resume. They have resume workshops, and then they also help you to make your application to jobs look smoother.
Yeah, thank you for answering that question. And then we have one more. Did you work with an advisor or transfer counselor from Foothill or from your respective colleges, and how helpful were they? And if you guys would like, feel free to provide the name of the counselor so that anyone watching knows who to go to.
yeah, so I worked with Tracy Cunningham to like finalize all my application stuff before I transferred. And she's at Foothill. She's awesome. And then when I got to Cal Poly, like I said earlier, like through the Biz 206 class, um, Chris and Amy, they were really nice, and they're advisors and also teachers or professors. So we got to know them really well, and they take care of us really well and like schedule our stuff and answer any questions about like any classes, academics, even like study abroad stuff like that. So yeah, it's really good. They're awesome.
Yeah, for me, for help talking to my counselors, they're all great. And on them talk the most with Tracy as well, and she knows what's up with tab tag everything. She can help you with it. And also I really like Cleve Freeman, I think, and they are both very professional. They're always very patient. They can definitely help your applications to UCs and CHs way smoother. Also, if you ever attend SDSU and as a Canadian major, I'll just say they assign different advisors here to your specific major, and they're all very professional. They always know they all know what class you should take for your future grad school or just in good for a job in general. So at least for Foothill, they're all great, but I'll recommend Cleve and Tracy. And for SDSU,
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys. So I think that was all the questions that we had from our audience. So that would conclude all the questions we do have for today. So if you guys have any closing statements that you'd like to say before we end the meeting, yeah, feel free to share out.
Well, thank you so much for having us. This was really awesome. And yeah, if you're interested in Cal Poly or just like CSUs in general, um, just learn more about it. Go talk to your like Trace Cunningham, Cleve Freeman. Um, they can answer your questions, and they're really amazing. And just enjoy your time in Foothill too. Foothill's an awesome place. I still think about it a lot. I really miss my time with all my friends in ASFC like Jerry. But yeah, so enjoy your time, have fun, and then when you get to Cal Poly or whatever CSU or UC wherever you go, enjoy it and have a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you.
yeah, I also want to say thank you as well. Shout out to for Honors Connection Club, and it's a great time, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to share our journey, and I hope our experience can help fellow students with their applications. And it's a great time talking with you all, and hope everything goes well with your application to your future schools, no matter it's what university go end up going. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to Kayla, and the club because they have our email. So you feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Bryce and Jerry, for making the time to come speak with us today. I hope that a lot of helpful information was learned and you guys provided, again, really insightful and great responses. And thank you for everyone who joined. Just a reminder that this will be posted as a recording on our YouTube, just in case anyone wants to watch back. And make sure to follow us on Instagram or join our Discord and keep an eye out for any of our upcoming panels or events. And yeah, so that concludes our panel for today. Thank you, everyone. And yeah.
Alrighty, thanks so much. Have a great day.